Welcome to the Book Club Life. I'm Jenny Snow, and today I want to tell you about an amazing book I just read. If you're new to the show, we do author interviews and book reviews, and we have done an interview with Jocelyn Green. I'll link it up to the video. But this is my most recent Jocelyn Green book that I've read, Veiled in Smoke, and it was excellent. It was everything I love about a Jocelyn Green book. So good. It's set in the 1870s during the Great Chicago Fire, and it follows Meg and her sister Sylvie and her father. They own a bookshop there, and during the fire they become separated, and their father had fought in the Civil War, and he came home from that alive, but never the same as he was before. He has PTSD, which, they didn't name that back then. They called it soldier's heart. And they become separated during the night of the fire. And when they reunite afterward, he is accused of murder, and he is locked up in an insane asylum. So after all of that loss during the fire, their shop is burned down. They're homeless now. Just so much devastation, they cannot lose their father as well. And so Meg is trying to prove his innocence. But did he do it? So this book has all of that great historical fiction. I could feel the chaos and the fear and the helplessness of the men trying to put out the fire that night. And there's also a romance, which I loved. There's not always romance in Jocelyn Green's books, but there's always love, And but in this case, there is a romance as well, and I just love it because I'm just so happy for the characters that get together. But you'll have to read it to see how that unfolds. It was just the perfect book for me to be reading right now. We say a lot about books, a little about life, so I'll tell you a little bit about my life right now. A couple of weeks ago, I injured my back, and I have not been able to sleep laying down since then. I am sleeping on the couch in a sitting up position, and so that has not been fun. And this was the perfect book for me to read as I was going through that. I bought it, this physical novel, but then I had to rebuy it again on Audible because I just haven't been able to sit down and turn pages. I've been doing, neck stretches and going to doctor appointments and chiropractor and all of that stuff. So I really identified with the characters, even the father at the insane asylum. He has some trouble sleeping, and so that I related to that, just to how much your body needs sleep. And then I related to some of the themes of here are, how do you rebuild a life that is never going to be the same? How do you do that? And so that's a book club question that I would ask if you choose this for your book club is, what are you trying to rebuild right now? What are you trying to change? So it might be something physical, like I'm trying to rebuild my movement and usage of my neck without pain shooting down my arm. And what are you trying to rebuild in your life? You can leave it down in the comments if you'd like. I will read and every single one and try to respond to those. And that's just a great get to know each other question, support that I love about book clubs. There's all the great literary quality that Jocelyn brings, the character development. Which character did you relate to the most? And then also just how you relate to your parents. Each sister related differently to their father. And as you grow and experience some things that you didn't understand about your parents, you may come to understand later when you go through a similar situation. And that's true as well with each other, right? Something you've gone through I might not be able to understand until I've gone, anybody who has back trouble, I'm like, oh yes, I will pray for you. Because you need it. It's not fun to have that pain. So it was just a wonderful book. It hits all the marks for me. There's romance, there's mystery, whodunit. There's just that deeper inspirational quality that Jocelyn Green's books have, for me at least. It's a great story, but also an inspiration for your life. I would give it a tissue rating for sure. Have 1 or 2 tissues nearby. I didn't cry during the book, but I have gotten teary-eyed just thinking about it afterwards, and it's just really good, really good. So 5 stars, 4 hearts. You know, there is a romance, but it's not the primary. It's a subplot, but it is so good. I loved it. I loved it, and I'm really glad that it's part 1 of a series. So I can't wait for part 2 next year. And if you liked this book review, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing. And don't miss the interview I did with Jocelyn Green. It was amazing. And we talk about her life, and some of the themes that we talk about in Jocelyn's life do come through in her novels. So I will put that in the show notes if you want to go check that out and learn more about Jocelyn Green. And until next time, happy reading.